Hey there, I wish you warmth because it's one cold evening. But you know, we live in North America, so that comes with the territory. I'm Clive. Next to me is Gail. And this is Conversations with Clive Williams. And I tell you, it's a real pleasure coming to you this evening. We made an effort to come, and here we are. I am truly honored because I have three guests. They happen to be three men of real stature who we're going to be talking to this evening. And if I sound profound, I intend to really be profound because we are in trouble. As a country, we are fighting several wars. We're dealing with a situation, a pandemic, which we've been dealing with for the last 2.5 years. We're just maybe seeing the light. We're hoping to emerge from this. It might end up being an endemic situation. We'll take that. But we're also looking at conflict with Russia. Their forces are being gathered ominously on the border of Ukraine. We're looking at a country that's divided at every level. We're divided in terms of how we see our future as a country. We're divided along race lines, economic lines. There's a fissure in our entire country, right down the middle. And Gail, as a professor who influences the minds of young people, somewhere 18, 19, 20-year-olds, what are you telling them? Because they must be asking questions. They're confused because they're looking at a future which doesn't look very bright if they're thinking of moving upwardly. Upward mobility has always been the hue and cry of our generation, those of us who were born in the 50s and 60s and 70s. We get used to the notion of moving up, buying that home, the American dream. Buying that car. So, and the white picket fence that goes with that.
Yeah.
Right? But right now, we're facing a situation that everybody's saying, is it inflation? Is it not inflation? It's inflation because every time you and I go to the supermarket, we're paying more.
It's more for a gallon of milk than it is a gallon of gas.
There you go. So, it impacted me so much that you and I decided to bring some experts in.
Yeah.
Some very bright people, some very experienced people, some seasoned people who understand exactly what is happening and who, in layman's terms, the best way they can, will kind of convey this to us, simplify this for us, to make us understand, because our two biggest purchases in our lifetimes are home and car.
Yeah. Those are the things that bring us wealth. If you don't own a home, where's your wealth going?
Yeah.
If you have the ability to own a car, if you have a place to put it, which you would if you plan wisely and get a house, they kind of go one on one together.
And
right?
Gail, in my case, I don't just need a car. I need a truck to take my product to market.
Absolutely.
So for me, a car or a truck is not an option.
It's a necessity.
Right. So and that is true of most of you who are looking on, who are seeing us right now. So I want you to pick up the phone, call a friend, and tell them to join us on. We're powered by WGJS Radio and Our World Media. Our World Media is right now on Facebook. Join us. You can join us on the Where It's At Facebook page as well. All right. So make sure you don't miss out on this conversation. Illustrious is maybe too inadequate a word, but Bobby McLeod, and the name McLeod doesn't mean he's loud, but let me tell you something. He carries weight. Oh, did I pun that again? Bobby is powerful. Bobby's powerful in the field that he's in, one of the most experienced and accomplished real estate magnates in our community. This man knows real estate, been in it for over 25 years as a broker, and has an awesome resume. of accomplishment, the number of people he has put into homes, the amount he has helped, guided in owning real estate, investing in real estate. A member of his team is also joining us, and that member of his team is licensed in 5 states in the amazing art of negotiating the short sale, which you'll hear a lot of ads on the radio talking about. Short sale, go to a lawyer. We're going to tell you now, you don't have to go to a lawyer, all right? And we're going to simplify the process for you.
And also explain what it is. I think
precisely.
It's just shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
If you're not in that situation, and then when you find yourself in that situation, where do you go? So this is a great show.
Yep.
If you are there, if you think you might be heading in that direction, or if the people across the street are, because this is the sort of thing that doesn't happen in a vacuum.
It does not.
So home ownership doesn't happen in a vacuum, and also, when you have an issue with your home, if you're going into a short sale, if you're underwater in
if you're facing foreclosure,
if you're underwater, that does not happen in a vacuum. So you might be sitting there saying, "Not me. I'm good. I'm paying my bills and I'm fine." However, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. What I mean by that is if it's happening to the people across the street,
that's right,
it is going to affect you. So listen up so you can help the people around you, because it affects all of us.
This discussion is a mandatory one. Get ready, call a friend, tell them to join us. Our World Network on Facebook. Where it's at on Facebook. I think it should be on my Facebook page as well, Clive Williams. So join us for that conversation. And we have in the wings JEMEHL Thomas, JEMEHL, the car guy, the leading expert, automotive expert now on how to buy a car, when to buy a car, and so forth. So we're chock full of excitement here this evening. So without my saying anything more, let me introduce my friend and someone whom I've admired, and someone who has been, though younger than I am, has been somewhat of a mentor to me, Bobby McLeod. Bobby, a very good evening to you, sir.
Well, thank you, Dr. Williams and Professor Gale. It's an absolute pleasure to be a member of this platform, and I can't say how honored I am to be a part of this podcast today. What I'd like to begin with is to agree with everything that you have touched based on in the few brief minutes you have spoken. You're a man of a wealth of knowledge, and the community considers you a true asset, because it's very hard to find someone who cares about the community in a more sincere way than you do. You are truly a leader in our community, and we're very, very grateful to have you, Dr. Williams. Professor Gale, words cannot describe how important it is to also have a female leader who is the backbone of our community, that provides strength with intuition, education, and the intelligence that we really need in a leader to finally bring to fruition this kind of a broadcast on a podcast. No pun intended.
Bobby, you know what? I expected that from you. Thank you so much. my friend, against the backdrop, I don't want to talk too much. Against the backdrop of a situation here where there are people who were looking before the pandemic. They were planning to buy a home. Many of us got some money, but the money had to be used for food, to take care of our bills. We just had to live. And so that money that they were planning to use to buy a home is kind of burned. And now they're looking at a housing market that's growing further and further out of their reach. So some people are beginning to worry and say, are we going back to 2007? What's happening here? Is this a bubble? What are these prices for real? Are they going to keep going up and up? So, Bobby, what are people to do? How should they respond? The two segments I'm talking about, those people who were getting ready to buy, all right, and those people, well, maybe three segments. So those people who are getting ready to buy and are now disillusioned by the prices when they go into the market. Those young people who have the ambition to buy, the millennials, who are planning to move out of their parents' homes and get that first home. And there are those people who are saying, well, when should I really enter this market? When should I buy? They're undecided. What do you tell these people, Bobby? What is the status?
Well, you've addressed some very, very serious concerns that is very prevalent in the community, especially the minority community. And the reason I say minority, when you have an economic battle, which is what we're facing right now, where there's a division in economics in terms of where you live, because that's fundamentally the value aspect of real estate. It's all about location, location. Uh, Homes will increase in different locations, different neighborhoods over other neighborhoods based on just the location. And that's why you've heard over the years people say when you're buying real estate, it's not just how beautiful the house looks, but it's location, location, location. Now, what I'd like to say to our listeners, this is something very important you want to understand. As a first-time home buyer, you might consider that having your single job might not be enough, and that might be true. And you might have a second or third job. What I want to emphasize is that when you're filing your taxes, try to report the maximum, whether you're driving a taxi cab, whether you have your own business. It's really, really important because fundamentally you're going to need good credit and a very strong income to support getting a pre-approval to buy a home. So let's say you have three jobs. You really don't have to keep those jobs for the next 5, 10, 15 years. You just need 2 years of solid income to qualify to get a pre-approval to buy a home. When you're buying a home, I want to emphasize that you just don't buy a home. You just don't buy a one family. Try buying a two family or three family. This being your first home, because what you're going to try to do is have that passive income coming in from your residence, the first purchase, which means if you have a secondary income coming from the first apartment and the second floor apartment, you can now perhaps forget about working those extra two jobs that you were using to buy the home. So this actually gives your lifestyle more freedom to do the things you really want to do, like spend time with the family, take some vacation. And guess what? When you buy that multi-family home, being the very first home, you can actually use the income from the rental to support qualifying for a second home. And guess what? The second home is the true home. That can be your primary residence, the one you live in, and you don't have to share with tenants. You can actually move out of the first home, which was a two or three family, rent that location, the first, second, or third floor, and now you have additional income, which will probably be able to more than likely pay off all the mortgage for the first multifamily home, and will probably pay off all the mortgage for the primary residence. So my point is, a lot of people might think the wisest thing to do when you're working is to report as little taxes as possible. Not true, my friend. You want to show a very strong income. You want to show the maximum taxes. There are loopholes that you can utilize that your CPA accountant, your tax preparer can do. But when you want to attempt to buy one of the most important assets, an appreciated asset, a home, you want to make sure you're reporting the highest income. I can't tell you how many stories of sadness that I've heard from people who have gone to buy a home, and unfortunately, they reported last year or a couple of years ago not being able to qualify for the current income that's needed because their accountant or their tax preparer said, "Hey, listen," or themselves said, "Hey, I want to report legally, you know, uh, and take the major deductions, so my income is lower." But then you don't qualify to buy a home. Now remember, report your taxes to the maximum, buy that home, and then jump into the loopholes that allow you to pay your lower taxes. Because now you're going to use the current home as an investment property to qualify as an income to buy you the next home and the next home.
That's some
I hope
amazing.
that's
Yeah, that's some
good
amazing information.
information for the public at large who are thinking or listening while they're driving. I'm a taxi driver. I have my own business. I'm a
Yeah.
mechanic. Anyone who is self-employed, I'm going to report as little tax as possible. I hope this is a wake-up call to have you not do that.
So what you're saying
And
is register that business with the state and then go about it in your taxes, your income that you get. Pay your taxes, obviously, on that money. It's going to increase your, I'm just excited saying it. It's going to increase your income. And so then you'll qualify, hopefully, for that house, for that mortgage.
yeah, don't take the deductions that you know you can legally that will lower your reported income. You want to forego that for now with the
So, so,
interest.
so, Bobby, the reality is that there are those people who are in the situation already. I have friends who are attorneys. I happen to have been a counselor for a while. I had my practice. People like ourselves, professionals, who are advised, wrongly so, by many of our tax experts, to report as low an income as possible for whatever advantage they see. They're in the situation now. How do they recover from this? What options do they have?
Roger, would you like to step in and answer
Absolutely.
this question, sir?
Yes, can I go back to something Bobby alluded to in the previous question?
Sure.
I think he underscored a very important point that has enormous practical applicability. And the reason I say that is many of us think that if we learn the tax laws, somehow we can mitigate our tax liability. The problem with that kind of logic is that it ends up hurting you when you're trying to get a mortgage.
Right.
So what Unlimited Homes Realty stresses in our training and in when we conversate with our client is that we provide them with personalized solutions to these kinds of issues. We tell them, listen, if you try to mitigate taxes, it has an adverse effect on applying for a mortgage because the federal government requires a certain amount of income in order for you to qualify for a mortgage. So the implications of getting a tax break has serious consequences in the acquisition of real estate. I hope I'm articulating that thought correctly.
Oh, absolutely. I get the message, and I'm sure our viewers are getting the message. Folks, let me just remind you, we're here powered by WJGS Radio and Our World Media Facebook page, where it's at, Our World Media Facebook page, YouTube, we're on, Roku, we're on. So please join us, call a friend, join this conversation. Sir, you've made it very clear, Roger. So like I was asking Bobby, so what choices, what options does one have? Could we change our philosophy and our thinking in terms of buying a home to include more members of the family to become part of this purchase in order to mitigate an already bad situation gone where one person's income or even two persons' income might not qualify them. Can we get a third person? What does Unlimited Homes Realty advise in terms of a family maybe coming together to make sure that they can own a piece of the American dream?
Very, very
That's a
good
very.
question.
Go ahead.
And it begins with something that should be considered as common sense, but unfortunately, common sense isn't common.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to first educate, inform, reach out to the grassroots people in a layman communication by letting them know that, number one, you must always, before buying any real estate property, make sure that your income will support that purchase. And that can only happen if you understand that you're going to not reduce your income by accepting the loopholes because you want to show that you earned less money. It's contrary to progress. You, in fact, want to do the reverse. You want to pay the taxes and show a very high income so you can qualify for a mortgage to buy a home. Understand this. The qualification to buying a home is very simplistic. All you need is 2 years reported tax filing and continued employment for 2 years. Understand this again. 2 years. That's all you need. Now, follow this. You show income, high income for 2 years. You qualify. You're able to purchase a home. Now you have that home. I always insist, never buy a one-family home as a first-time home buyer. Try to get a home that will provide additional income, say a 2-family or 3-family. Then from there on, once you've acquired that property, you now have passive income from the tenants, which means the next time around when you're doing your taxes, you can take advantage of all the loopholes you wanted to because now you have your appreciating asset. Now, secondary thing you want to bear in mind is if you don't have enough income, you can always get what is called a cosigner. A cosigner can be in the form of your mom, your dad, your cousin, your sister, your brother, can even be your ex-girlfriend, your ex-boyfriend, if you still have a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
They're already your ex.
And it's combining the income once again to support being able to qualify for a mortgage, which goes back to my point. If you have someone to co-sign, you're using their income.
Mhm.
So if you're listening right now and you're a taxi driver, you're a mechanic, the list goes on and on, you're self-employed, and you have the ability to file your taxes and report a lower income legally, at this point you're thinking, this is not a good idea because I want to buy a home. And I'm so glad that Dr. Williams and Professor Gale has this forum that is basically giving you information that it will actually elevate you in a way that you're now going to make the right decision that will get you in a category to be able to walk in, present your tax documentation, and to actually buy a home. And we want to thank basically Professor Gale and Dr. Williams again for having us, on this podcast. It's so informative, and I can't say enough about how important it is to have this information that we're giving to the general community at large.
Hey, thank you so very much, Bobby. Roger, we're going to jump on you. We're going to flip the script a little bit here. Jenny Schewitz of the Brookings Institute She says, the situation that we're faced with forces us to understand the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are not enough houses and a huge demand for them that we don't have enough of. How do we circumvent this? How do we deal with this problem? Because we're facing that right now. An emerging millennial group of people, they want homes. We're not building. The home building that happened in 2007 is not repeating itself in 2022. What do we do?
You know, Victor Hugo said this, that nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And I think we have reached critical mass as it relates to housing in the United States. Now, this problem that you just alluded to, this is not something that is new or novel or something we have never heard before. Our ancestors, they deal with this issue before. The question that needs to be asked and should be answered is, what policies does government have in place to facilitate acquisition of properties? This is a macro question that needs to be answered.
Absolutely.
We can't solve this problem at the local level. There are legislations that are put in place to make housing affordable. For example, and Bobby can allude to this and he can affirm what I'm saying. In some neighborhoods, minorities do not have the required 10% or 5% to purchase a property. Consequently, the government steps in and says, hey, we can provide you with a loan. With 3.5%, you'll be able to acquire this property. Here again is a macro policy that makes housing affordable. So these are some of the issues that we have to deal with. These things are systemic in nature. It's not something that we can solve at a local level or a local business, local chamber of commerce meeting. These things have serious implications, and the issue starts all the way at the top, at the very top level of government. We have to deal with this issue and how we're going to make the millennials a more part of an affordable housing. This requires strategy. It requires strategic thinking. It requires formulation of policies. And these are some of the things. I just give you one example there, making housing affordable with a 3.5% down payment,
Right.
and you can finance all your closing costs. So, Dr. Williams, the question you ask is an important question. However, the answer is very complex, and there are layers and layers of things that has to be addressed before we can bring about a solution to this problem.
You know, it's clear that we're going to go a little bit over on this podcast, and this is why we do a podcast, because this information is so vital that JEMEHL, the car guy, I know he's chomping at the bits. He said, JEMEHL, we're going to come to you and we're going to give you the time you're allotted. I'm going to beg my engineer for some extended time here, just a few minutes extra, so we can maximize the experience and the expertise that we have on hand here. You know, thank you for that answer. You know, that certainly that 3.5% enacted by legislation is a saving grace for those people who cannot afford the 5 or the 10%. Here's a kicker now. Let's look at the downside. We're seeing people who are going into foreclosure, facing foreclosure, because just what has happened is that the boom after the bust created a situation where people accumulated a great deal of equity in their homes, and they started pulling out this equity and started spending much of it frivolously, right? And now they're upside down in a different situation, and they're facing all kinds of problems. And you hear lawyers advertising on the radio, on television, about the short sale to get you out of this problem. And I hear different versions of this short sale, and I spoke to Bobby in doing the background for this discussion, and Bobby said to me, a member of my team is one of the most qualified persons in this whole matter of short sale. I have searched and made sure that we at Unlimited Realty find the best person in the business on short sale. And I have that person on in the form of Mr. Roger Han. So Roger, back to you. I'm going to ask you now. What is it, this myth of the short sale?
Well, first, what is it?
What is it?
And then what do we do about it?
Those are very good questions. You know, I at the introduction of this podcast, I really wanted to say that what you provide to the community of color is what I like to call cultural capital. And cultural capital are ideas, strategies, things that we can use in our lives to make a healthy community, and more important, help the well-being of citizens. And I feel this question you just asked there provides the impetus or the driving force to create cultural capital. And for all the listeners out there, I want you to listen to me very carefully, because I'm going to break this down in a very simple, bite-sized, digestible knowledge that you can remember very, very easily, so you would not have to think about this ever again. Now, the term short sale, it's a compound of two words, short and sale. So obviously you're selling something and you're selling it short. So if I can articulate this, is I would say it this way: you owe a certain amount and you're selling it short or less than the amount. So in the context of your house, is you owe more than the house is valued. Consequently, you're selling it short, meaning you're selling it less than you owe the bank. And that's the whole idea of short sale. Short sale in its infancy or in its origin is designed to help the homeowner who is facing a disheartening situation of losing their house, but then at the same time have some added benefits, unlike foreclosure, that can get them back on their feet and restore them to a life of dignity.
Okay, so let's counterbalance this now. You're facing foreclosure. So the process you go through with foreclosure is that you're just going to lose the property. What else are you going to lose?
You lose your dignity. A foreclosure comes with stigma. There's a psychological side to it. You will never be able to have another home. You'll never be able to purchase another home in 7 to 10 years. That judgment of foreclosure will remain on your credit for an extended period of time. Contrapose that to a short sale. You'll be able to purchase a property in less than 1 to 2 years if you do a short sale. In addition to that, if there are other liens on the property, you may be able to liquidate it at the time of closing. And more importantly, you don't pay anyone anything, because the bank is in a position to say, we will get you out of this financial dilemma and you will have another shot at buying another property without all the baggages and encumbrances that is associated with a foreclosure.
So you're providing an antidote, is what you're saying.
Precisely. It's a panacea for a problem that is beyond the scope of your financial situation.
And Unlimited Homes Realty, you provide this service, Bobby, at Unlimited Homes Realty?
Absolutely. I want to say that when it comes on to negotiating short sales in the state of New York, Roger, in my opinion, is absolutely the authority on that. And we're so happy to have him as, a part of our team here at Unlimited Homes Realty. And just to make it even more simpler, understand, a short sale basically, as Roger so eloquently said, simply put, is where the loan value of the house basically is so high that it exceeds the actual value. The loan amount exceeds the actual value of the house. Mm-hmm. So let's say you bought a house for $600,000 last year. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, you incurred some hardship. You lost a job, someone died, someone was incarcerated. The list goes on of the bad things that could have occurred that would put you in a situation where you no longer can afford the monthly payments. Now, let's say several months have passed and now the taxes are accruing. You're not able to pay for several months. Now the loan starts to increase, and the loan can increase over several months, several years, to the point where the original loan that you took out, say,
Mm-hmm.
let's say it was 500, you now owe 600,000-700,000 to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Now that loan amount is higher than the value of the house. That house is still probably appreciating,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Mm-hmm.
loan amount is appreciating much faster.
Faster. Yeah. Yeah.
You have a debt,
Yeah.
and that's what they refer to as the house or loan is upside down. So the loan amount is higher than the value of the house. When that happens, you qualify for a short sale. And the
So,
short sale process that Roger does as one of the number one experts in short sales is that he's able to speak to the bank to get that $700,000 in loan reduced significantly to half of that amount, to less than even the value of the house. Not only that, but he's also able to get the bank to pay for all of the back taxes, to pay for your legal attorney's fee, to also take care of any additional loans that are attached. Uh, so the list goes on and on the good benefits of doing a short sale instead of allowing the bank to foreclose on the property. So
so
anyone that's listing that's going through a foreclosure action right now and has a situation where they know that currently their loan amount exceeds the value of the house, you really need to call Unlimited Homes Realty and speak to Roger, and he will make sure that he fights for your right to make sure that we can handle this in a manner that in a year or two you will have the opportunity to start over again, as opposed to having the bank foreclose against you, which could technically sometimes even cost you your job. Because there are some jobs that if you get a foreclosure, they are mandated to get rid of you. And some banks, that might be the case because they might say if you can't afford to pay your mortgage, we might not want to feel comfortable having you handle our money. You know,
Yeah.
that's just a point, and you really can't say no to that. And in some cases, when you get a foreclosure, you're gonna be most likely indebted to the bank. They might even garnish your wages. So your salary that you're supposed to be getting, you might notice that a large majority of that has been taken away
Mm-hmm.
by a decree from a judge because you owe the bank money. So a foreclosure is a very, very, very serious position for anyone to be in. So don't take it lightly. Don't ignore it. The last thing you ever want to do is get a foreclosure letter from a bank and say, let me deal with this later, or just let me ride this out. Because
Bobby,
what's going to happen
I, I think
is,
I think Bobby that a lot of people do that. I think that the phone keeps ringing and you just don't answer it. The letters come and you just don't open them, or you put them in a drawer, or you don't pick them up at the post office because they're registered, or they're hanging on the front door and you just kind of rip them down and keep going. So unlimitedhomesrealty.com, that's where we go. We also go to see you at 1596 Dutch Broadway in Elmont for more information. And I think we're going to take a break and come back and talk a little bit more about short sales.
thank you, Professor Gale. Thank you, Dr. Williams.
Are you looking for a taste of the South? Well, honey, come on down to Carolyn's. We have fried chicken, catfish, whiting, barbecue beef ribs, mac and cheese, and some collard greens, freshly made desserts, and much, much more. We're located at 2564 Hempstead Turnpike in East Meadow. Order online at carolyns.kitchen and receive 5% off your first order.
Make sure to download the WGJS Radio app from the Apple Store or from the Google Play Store.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
What do we do? You may not be able to plan ahead for a ghost encounter.
Under the dining table now!
But you can plan ahead for natural disasters. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts.
Maybe it's the apocalypse.
Know your evacuation routes and decide on a safe emergency meeting location.
Here? I know. What a picked Orlando.
Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. So pass the Proton Pack to the next generation and visit ready.gov/plan to get started.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
And we're back.
Hey, we're back. I'm Clive Williams. This is Conversations with Clive Williams. My sidekick, Gail, is right here willing to give you some more information as to how you can get the valuable contacts you need if you are facing foreclosure, if you are.
I can't imagine how scary it is to be in that situation. Yeah. Luckily, I've been blessed not to be in that situation, but I can imagine that it must be scary for you and scary for your family. And so that's why having Roger and Bobby on tonight from Unlimited Homes Realty, and you can look at them, you can catch up with them at unlimitedhomesrealty.com. Having Bobby and Roger on this evening is it's something that I think is really important to the neighborhood, to the community at large, so that we talk about these things. Often foreclosure, short sale, it's just shrouded in secrecy because, part of you is embarrassed, I think, which you shouldn't be. Bad things happen to good people, period. Yeah. And that's why having people like Bobby, people like Roger on your team is so important. So if you find yourself in a situation like this, if you think you might be heading in this direction, like I said, bad things happen to good people. So if that's your situation, unlimitedhomesrealty.com. Reach out to Bobby, reach out to Roger. You can go visit them at 1596 Dutch Broadway, Elmont, and you can even give them a call, 718-322-7800, and ask for Bobby, ask for Roger, ask for the people who can help you with the short sale, ask you for people who can give you a little bit of direction if you find yourself with a notice on the door, if you find the phone keeps ringing and it's the bank, if you find that the registered letters just keep on coming, pick up the phone, 718-322-7800, and Roger and Bobby are there to help you out. Hi, guys.
Hello. Hi, Gail. Thank you so much for having us back. And I just want to let the listeners know that we also have a toll-free number, 1-800-820-9450. That's 1-800-820-9450. Because sometimes, you're facing this kind of foreclosure matter, you don't even have money to make a call. So we wanted to provide and make it as easy as possible. So definitely feel free to call us from anywhere you are. You could be staying with a friend. You could be in a situation where you really need to speak to someone over the phone and you don't have access to a computer. Remember, call us toll free at 1-800-820-9450. I want to thank again Professor Gale and Dr. Williams for this podcast. It is such a gift to the community. And I say that it is absolutely a gift. I know Christmas has gone about a month, 2 months now, but this is such a belated gift that they're giving to the community. And I want to, thank them both. Thank you, Professor Gale, and thank you, Dr. Williams.
Gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for offering your time. Today is one of the coldest days we've had of the year, and I tell you, to just get away from what makes you warm and fuzzy and comfortable, to engage in a conversation like this to benefit our community is something that we're grateful for. And I'm going to say categorically, Bobby, that we'll have you back. The wealth of information you guys have, Roger, Bobby, is too valuable not to repeat. I know this particular podcast is going to be in demand, and these things have a momentum. Podcasts have a momentum, and this is what I love about the podcasting business. 2-3 months' time, people are going to be calling you on this, because more and more people, it's going to have a cycle that kind of rebirths itself. So we look forward, though, bringing you back for another segment where we're going to talk about other aspects of real estate. And, we have JEMEHL, the car guy. We wanted to bring him along in with you, but we just don't have the capacity, the bandwidth to facilitate that this evening. But, gentlemen, thank you again. We're totally grateful, and you have a warm, wonderful rest of the evening.
And before we let them go, thanks, Roger. Thanks, Bobby. UnlimitedHomesRealty.com. Reach out to them toll free. Who knew? 1-800-820-7450. And of course, remember, it's where it's at. I'm sorry, 9450. 1-800-820-9450.
You repeat it, Bobby. I want it to come from you. One more time, Bobby.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Thank you, Professor Gale. Thank you, Roger. It's 1-800-820-9450. 1-800-820-9450. I just want to say thank you again to our listeners. Thank you, Dr. Williams, and thank you, Professor Gale. Thank you, Roger. We've only touched on 1%. We've only chipped the top of the iceberg in terms of information that you really need to know before you buy or sell a home, or even go into foreclosure or do a short sale. So please stay in touch with this podcast. It's just the beginning of a gift that will continue to give.
You're coming back. You're coming back.
And remember, if you are thinking of buying, if you're thinking of selling, go see Bobby, go see Roger at 1596 Dutch Broadway, Elmont, New York. They're right there.
Hey, Chocolate Loft, huh?
Oh, hey, speaking of housing, right? Mm-hmm. What a better segue. Speaking of housing, if you find yourself looking for a loft that's sweet, where you can throw a party, look no further than the Chocolate Loft, CHOCLET, Chocolate Loft. Yeah. They're located locally right here at 11310 Sutphin Boulevard, right here in Jamaica, Queens. Holla at Charles if you want to have a party, if you want to just have a small, intimate gathering for your friends that's COVID safe in a place outside of your home, because you don't want to have people coming into your home because you don't want COVID in there. But you want to do something safe, you want to do something outside of your home but local. Reach out to Charles at the Chocolate Loft.
929-504-9200. Yep. That's 929-504-9200. Chocolate Loft. Okay, so Where It's At has the on the cover of Where It's At this month are two, stalwarts, two of the most amazing men, chocolate men.
Since we were talking about the Chocolate Loft.
Yeah, chocolate men.
Two men of color.
Two black men, and the reason why we featured Harry Belafonte, he's not dead. we lost Sidney Poitier. But Harry Belafonte was his best friend. They were friends for almost 8 years. And these men shared a commonality that is just amazing. And the fact that Sidney's gone, we can just imagine the impact it has had on Harry. March 1st is going to be Harry Belafonte's 95th birthday. So we look forward to celebrating that with him. Sidney's birthday was February 20. And these guys are days apart, both born in 1927. And that's a feature in Where It's At for this month. So look out for that.
And it's Black History Month, so please pick it up because we're always celebrating men of color, and specifically for Black History Month, it's very important. So you can find it wherever you find the free newspapers.
JEMEHL is just an awesome guy. He's always on radio. He understands the vagaries of the business. He knows that sometimes you get, we just couldn't find the bandwidth to accommodate you in this conversation, JEMEHL, but I know you're there. A very good evening to you, sir. Thank you so very much for your patience.
Hi, JEMEHL.
Hello, good evening, Dr. Williams. Good evening, Professor Gale. How are you guys doing this evening?
It's so good to see you on such a cold night.
Yeah.
I know. It's very warm in my office, though. So.
Oh, well, you know, on the way over here, it's just ridiculous outside, and I drove, and I felt so warm in my vehicle, and I want other people to feel warm in their vehicles too this year, this winter, and then I want people to buy convertibles for the summer. So I'm excited that you're here, and that we can talk a little bit about Superb Motors and all of the great service that you provide to our community. I feel like it's an embarrassment of riches tonight with Bobby to here as well. So we can talk about buying a car and buying a home, which, let's face it, those are the two biggest purchases that you're going to make. So tell us a little bit, JEMEHL, about buying a car at Superb Motors.
Well, again, thank you for having me. I try to bring a different type of car buying experience to the community. Everyone always thinks that car dealerships are pretty much one of the last places, like that or the dentist. You don't want to go to either one of them. I try to bring a different atmosphere, as Dr. Williams had mentioned earlier. Again, yes, in the summertime you can go out in the back and you can sit under the gazebo and you can relax. It's a different atmosphere. Coming into the dealership, you're going to be greeted warmly. You know, I train customer service is my biggest thing when it comes to customers coming into the dealership. So you're going to get the good morning, you're going to get the good afternoon, good evening, how are you doing? You would like a drink, a coffee, a tea. That's just basic common practices that we do here. So when you come into the dealership, you're going to feel at home. That's the first thing I always train my guys. You want to make sure the customer is comfortable. You want to make sure they are not whatever, as you would say, guards that they may have up. You want to figure out how to get those guards down and make them feel comfortable. So yes, we employ Caribbean people. So you're going to come in, this is a Caribbean owned and operated dealership. So you're going to see people that look like you, that talk like
sound
you.
like you.
Exactly. That know your situation. That may, if you have, wherever you come from, your background, they're going to be familiar with that. So that makes the customer a little bit more at ease. So this is what we practice here.
So JEMEHL, Bobby from Unlimited Homes Realty, which you can find at unlimitedhomesrealty.com. Bobby talked about how you can go to him and find, he'll help you find a home, and also about increasing your income so that you can qualify for a better mortgage. With you, talk to us a little bit about financing a car. I'm coming to you at Superb Motors Group, and what should I know about my finances before I get to you? Maybe I'm not in that great a position. What can you do for me?
The first thing you want to know is you want to be aware of your situation. You want to know what your credit situation is, not just coming into Superb, but going into any car dealership. You want to know where you stand, because you may think you have troubled credit or issues with your credit, and you may not actually have it. So they have a lot of dealerships out there that would prey upon that. If you think you have bad credit, they're going to tell you you have bad credit.
I hear those all the time. Yeah.
People are not, they're not savvy into what their situation is. So you want to make sure you know what your credit situation is, know your standing, know what you would qualify for, and then have an idea of the type of vehicle that you're interested in. Try not to have a dealership tell you what they want to sell you. Have at least an idea, so when you come in, we can give you more of an educated help, I would say, in regards to picking out a vehicle. Um, know what your buying power is. I always say, if you're going, shop a dealership or two. You may not want everyone to run your credit, but get prices. At least know where you are in regards to what the car is going for, what the market value is. You don't want to just take the first word someone tells you. That's why I'm probably one of the only dealers I know that will say, go to 2 or 3 dealerships, get an idea, and then come and see me and watch how much better my numbers and my pricing are. Most people will tell you, no, you must buy here right away.
Right.
You can't go anywhere else. That just means they're scared of their pricing. They're scared of what's out there.
So there's two things. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I know we're tight on time, but 2 things I wanted to talk about what you just said. First of all, that hard sell that I've gotten personally, and I think a lot of women especially, this is the hard sell. I don't understand it. When you walk into a car dealership, that's the first thing. So I want you to talk about that. Second, as far as financing and going to other places and looking around, if it seems too good to be true, what should we do? And third, can I come to you for a new car, a used car? Can I come for you for any car? Maybe everything from a Mazda to a Maybach and everything in between? Tell me.
Mazda to the Maybach. I was going to say Mazda to Maserati.
Well, now we're going big.
Hey, but by the way, JEMEHL, I still have Bobby on, and one of the reasons I have him on, he's a car enthusiast, right?
Okay.
We had him at Maybach.
So sell him, sell him the Maybach.
Well, we can start with that. Actually, yes, here at Superb Motors, we have all makes, all models. I don't care if you're looking for something in the $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 price bracket. We have quite a bit of those. Also, we have on the sales floor as we speak, and I can get pretty much any vehicle that's out there. I have a 2020 Lamborghini Urus. That's almost a $400,000 vehicle. So that just gives you the wide variety of cars that we can get here at Superb Motors. So yes, we've sold anywhere from Lamborghinis. We've sold Rolls Royce, Wraith, recently 2019. So we can get pretty much anything new or pre-owned. Being that we are a huge dealership, we have actually 3 stores. We have 2 partner stores in New Jersey and in Connecticut. So getting a vehicle is not an issue as long as it's out there. If you come in and there's a car that you particularly want and I don't have it on the lot, I will literally cut a check, go buy the car, and have it shipped here. I actually recently shipped a car from California for a gentleman. He wanted a particular Rolls Royce, and that car came from California, Beverly Hills, and we had it shipped here. And he came and took advantage.
JEMEHL, yes. Is he single? We'll talk after, okay? We're gonna talk after. But seriously. But seriously,
JEMEHL, can we have your address, please? Because I have approximately 60 agents that make up our real estate team, and the fundamental reason that they're so successful is because they drive and they put a lot of miles on their car. So they own 1, 2, 3 cars at a time. The nice luxury car that stays at home.
No one wants to.
The Range Rover, the BMW, the Mercedes, and then you have the secondary car, family car, the Suburban, and then they have the workhorse, which is your middle price. I'd say $24,000 to $15,000 car. So you're ideally the person that my agents would magnetize to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you have such a wide variety of cars for everyone. The luxury car, the family car, the convertible, as Professor Gale said. So, I mean, this is a place that, everyone should go. Can I have that address, please, sir?
Sure. We're located at 215 Northern Boulevard, Great Neck, Long Island. Again, 215 Northern Boulevard, Great Neck. Very, very easy. We're only about 5 minutes off of the Cross Island Parkway, very locally, centrally located, I might say. But again, I offer services that I don't think too many people offer. If you cannot get to us for whatever reason, we will get to you. We will send the car. We will send the car. We will send the car to pick you up. Wherever we go. We had a young lady that heard us on the radio in Atlanta, and we sent her a plane ticket. And she came here and she purchased her vehicle and she drove down to Atlanta with her car. So as long as you can hear my voice and you want to purchase a car with Superb, we will get you here. So we will pick you up. Or if you just want to do it from the comfort of your home, because this day and age, a lot of people don't want to leave the house if they don't have to. We will do everything via the internet, via the phone, and then we will bring the car to your home or office and make it very easy. So
tell your story, Bobby. Tell your true story. I have a dealership that I've been dealing with now for a number of cycles, maybe 5-6 years. And I went to that dealership because one of my team was looking for a car. And that dealership gave me the song and dance, which they've never done before, because we are now living in very different times, just like in real estate, where there is more demand than there are units for those people. The same thing is happening in the car industry. There's more demand for cars than there are cars because of what is happening worldwide. And so I went to JEMEHL and I said, JEMEHL, we need a car. And JEMEHL says, okay, so what kind of car do you need? So I said, this is the kind of car we need. So he says, when you get back to your office, check your phone. We're going to send you, some choices of colors. Mm-hmm. Okay. So by the time we got back, we got choices of colors. So I'm saying, being the cynic that I am, I'm saying, okay, it's nice, maybe not. Well, we got a call a few days' time saying, why don't you come in and pick up your car? What? So what?
Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, so we go in a little bit tentatively saying, okay, the exact car, the exact color was there. So he says, okay, so what about the paperwork? I said, what about the paperwork? You gave us the information already. You were approved. He says, no, that doesn't happen. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm in an alternate universe right now. This is not happening. This is not happening. So we say, okay, so what about what do we pay for this car now? So, you expect the bill, right? And the longer that bill took, I'm saying to my team member, oh God, we chose the color, They said no problem. We says we need the car. The car came, no problem, in this time. And then we're asking for the bill, and it doesn't come. This is not looking. The bill came, and the amount that was required as a down payment, we hurriedly wrote the check. Because no, seriously, we thought that, okay, this is a gift from God. This is not Christmas, but this is Santa Claus is visiting here. And all this is happening during the summer under a gazebo in the back of the dealership. And we are asked, what do you want to drink? And we are served drinks. And I'm saying to my team member, who happens to be Annette, this is not real. There's nobody hassling us. There's nobody saying, okay, so let me go see the boss and see what we can do for you. Yeah. There's nobody saying, well, you're going to have to pay a little bit extra because it has those fancy wheels. Nothing like that. I was in the business, Bobby, when I just came to this country in 1988. I was in the car industry. This does not happen. JEMEHL the car guy has made it possible that people can walk into a dealership and have an experience that is pleasant, that is encouraging, that is positive, that is good. And I'm saying it happens nowhere else. So it's my pleasure to have you guys on. Trust me, you are.
I just want to interject, to our listeners. JEMEHL, this is where his service will exceed your expectations. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is actually what I try to do. Again, it's not because it's Dr. Williams. This is something that everyone gets when they walk through the doors. Yeah. I've done this it's now going on 20 years. I've been in the car business, and my name is very important to me. So when it comes to taking care of my Caribbean community, I always say I don't think that there's anybody out there that's going to do it better than I would.
Yeah.
So I want to bring a dealership. I wanted to bring a dealership to the community that you're going to feel comfortable coming into. You're going to come in and relax and know you're going to get A1 treatment, because these other communities, these other groups, when they go to their community, they get A1 treatment.
Absolutely.
Why shouldn't we have a dealership
Right.
in our community that gives
I
that
agree.
same treatment? So there is one now, and it's Superb Motors. Again, you can reach me. You can give us a call, 1-800-509-3102, or you can log on to Superb Motor Group. We have, all of our inventory is online. Again, we have over 300 cars in inventory, and we're still growing. So, again, this is what we want to do, and I'm proud to be able to bring this dealership to the community.
Gail, I don't know about you, but it's cold, but I'm feeling warm and fuzzy inside.
There you go.
This is one of the, just bringing together a team of men like this to offer the kind of services to our community makes me feel so proud. Let me tell you something. When I got to this country in 1988, and I looked at the newspapers, when I saw the way I saw black people represented, they all looked like mugshots.
Yeah.
Right? No matter how well the guy's doing, JEMEHL or Bobby, they are in a newspaper. The picture looks like it's a mugshot. And I'm saying, I'm going to change this.
Yeah.
Not me alone, but myself, my son, Annette, my wife, Michelle. We got together as a team and said, we're going to put our people in color. We are going to make them colorful. We're going to make them look attractive. We're going to make them look like they ought to look. And so where it's at was born, where we tell your stories. And our world media is a similar platform that just gives us visual. And we're grateful for our world media platform. We're grateful for WGJS Radio, which powers this broadcast. And we are delighted to have you, my friends, on board. And we're looking forward to building better. Thank you so very much, my friends. Thank you, my engineer, Joey. Thank you, my grandson, Stone, for sitting in. Gail, thank you. Annette, thank you for directing and the makeup. We just want to thank Lady Pauline for making this platform possible. This is Clive Williams. And Gail, thank you, my dear.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
Thank you, Dr.
Catch up
Williams.
with you guys.
Gail,
We love you. We thank you. Take care.
love you too.